There we go.
Patience. Well, good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to our weekly Facebook Live session of CWA, Conscious World Agents. My name is Arturo Mazzaro.
And my name is Claudia van Zuiden.
And both we are the co-founders of CWA. Well, we are curious how you are doing, of course. So if you have something to share with us, please do. If you have a question, please ask this question and we will see if we can answer this for you. Today we're going to talk about patience. This week we wrote some posts about patience and how this can help you to raise your level of consciousness. We are going to say to you at the end of this Facebook Live session what the topic for next week will be. Anything else that we need to share before we start?
I don't think so. I think you mentioned them all, and I also think we're going to explain a little bit more about the 4-leaf clover program before the end of the session. But I think let's start what we normally do with sharing what we wrote about the topic that we choose. Every week we choose a topic. And this week we decided to use the power of patience.
Power of patience, wow.
Mm-hmm. So
nice. P.O.P. Pop.
Says the weasel.
It's okay. Well, the power of patience.
Mm-hmm.
Why is patience so important according to me, us? Mm. What we see and what we notice, and also in our own life at certain moments, is that we are more in a reactive mode. We experience things, we are in a situation or a person says something and we react immediately. This has to do with, a part of this has to do with our subconscious mind, because that wants to control the situation. And that's obvious, of course, when there is a real danger. If the lion is attacking you, you need to act right away.
For sure.
If you are outside and you're standing on a railroad and the train is coming, please act right away. If your child falls and, I hope not, but has a broken arm, react right away, of course. But when you look at the situations you're in your daily life, a lot of times there's no real danger. So if there's no real danger, you don't have to act or react right away. That's what we learned ourselves. For instance, I'm 60 years old. I'm from a generation where we sent letters to each other. And that took 4 or 5 days for the first reaction in the beginning. Maybe you recognize this, you remember it. Nowadays, if in WhatsApp or Telegram, Signal, it doesn't matter where it is, if you got some signal from the other person, you think that you have to react right away. And it's also, if you send it, you want an answer within 5 to 10 minutes. So the whole world is in such a page that it's going so fast. And that influence also your decisions, the way you act or react on a situation. And because you have to, and especially when in your job, but also in your private life, you have to keep up so many balls in the air. And if something else comes in then, okay, let's at least fix this one right away. Then there's some kind of relief that's coming into you. Okay, it's good. That's away. That's not anymore on my plate. But you keep on firefighting like this for a long time. And this is becoming the norm in a lot of companies, but maybe also in your private life. The norm is the firefighting instead of taking a step back, overlooking the whole situation, and wait for an hour. Just wait for an hour and see what happens. Otherwise, when you don't show the patience, you're in the reactive mode. A lot of times there's also a charge with an emotion in it, maybe frustration, jealousy, anger, depression, the expectations you have. And when you take a step back, take a deep breath, overlook the situation. And my grandmother said to me, Arturo, first count to 10 before you act. Yeah, Grandma. Okay, I will do it. But take 10 seconds. That's already a lot for a lot of people. And see how it feels then. And what can happen then is that you come from a totally different emotion, totally different feeling. You can show more compassion, more understanding. The decisions will probably be better. And I don't say you make bad decisions, but the decisions you do from a reactive mode, a lot of times it will, how do you say that, fire back? Fire back to you in a different situation then. Because it was not the right decision at that moment. So don't think in short term, think in long term. And when you're going to start to think in long-term solutions, you see a lot of more possibilities. There's always another solution than you have for the first thought that comes in. Always. But you need to look for it. You need to have the patience to, okay, normally I would do this. Is this the right one? Is there another solution? Because if there was no other solution, we wouldn't have any problems. Because then there's only one way we can do it. So when there is an issue, then when there is a problem, there's always more than one solution. Just do it. Take a deep breath. First look if there is real danger. If there's no real danger, take a step back, take a deep breath, think about it, feel about it, and wait for at least 1 hour. And see what the benefits for you will be. But not only for you, probably also for a lot of other persons and the situation. I can tell a lot more, but basically this is what I wrote this week about patience.
Did you have an experiment as well?
Yeah, the experiment was what I said, right. The last thing.
Yeah, okay.
So take a step back, really literally take a step back. Because then you have already a different overview about the situation. And if you need to take 2 steps back, please do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that gives you a clearer vision. I'm a little bit more of an eagle vision as well. Yeah. Not like the mouse, like everything is under your nose. Yeah, I suppose.
It's like the kitten, you know, that's constantly looking to everything that is reacting and Okay. Be more like the eagle, or maybe like the elephant. That's okay. I will overlook this.
Yeah. Take some time.
Yeah.
Nice one. Very nice. Yeah, I suppose a lot of us can relate to this, this whole topic of patience, and I'm sure we have moments that we can recall when patience was a virtue, when it really helped us and in situations. And I wrote a little bit about that as well in my post, because you know what we think has the effect on all we do, on how we spend our time, how we choose our friends, where we choose to live, all these things. So when we become aware that how we experience the outside world depends on our inner world, we can also take some time and really reflect on that inner world. Like you're saying, you know, there's 2 different choices or solutions, as you said here. You know, how am I going to react in this situation? And of course, you know, every emotion comes from a thought first. So if you are angry or you are jealous or you are whatever, frustrated or anything like that, that has a thought. When you actually start to become aware of the power of your mind, that you can actually guide your thoughts, that you have a choice, you start to taste. When you start to practice patience, you start to taste the power of your mind. Because in those moments, and we often refer to this, like what Viktor Frankl was saying in his book, that moment of when something happens, the stimulus happens, and the moments of reaction, that little bit in between, that mindful moment in between, that's where the power lies in you when you start to realize that. So that also means that we can choose to go into a downward spiral of thinking. We can go into the negative and the frustrated spiral of thought patterns. But we can also say we go into more to the reflective, to the relaxing, to the calm kind of state of mind. And patience really helps us. It gives us the foundation to go to that place. So how do we practice that? When we just, like you say, take that moment of going back, take that step back and say, okay, this is what's happening to me. This is happening in my inner world right now. Let's just take a breath here. Let's just see what is the best choice for me to respond. And what I really like, I was reading a book. I was with a friend last weekend. We were visiting France, and he gave me this book of Seth Godin, called Tribe. And he mentions that also in there, like, you have that moment of stimulus and then reaction, response, but then the next step is initiation. What are you going to initiate? What you can initiate is that you take a very well considered and appropriate answer or response on what's been happening before that triggered something in you. For example, when you got angry, how often is it not that we've been triggered and then we say something just like that, and afterwards we go like, oh my gosh, I should have never done it. Oh, I should have never sent that text. I should have never sent should have never had that email sent. How often is it when you write that email, when I remember when I was younger and I was quite fiery and things would then get really, my emotions would get high, I'd write an email and then send. And the next day I'd go like, oh gosh, I should not have done that. Later on in life, I realized, well, that's not a wise thing to do. Now I don't even write email anymore until the next day if something happens. I really go inside first and say, what was this all about? So that really, saves us to having to deal later on with all kinds of consequences.
Going to close the window.
Yeah, that's great. With all kinds of consequences that could have had an effect on, things are happening outside, on our actions. So we don't have to clean it up later on. But that doesn't also mean that we, have to just accept everything that's happening. We can take appropriate measures for things that are happening as well. But we can do that with patience too, saying, well, this kind of behavior or this procedure that you want to follow, that's not in alignment with what I would like to do right now, or things like that. So we can take countermeasures, but then they are coming more from a controlled mind, rather than a very free monkey-like mind that just wants to do whatever it wants because it has this fueled emotion, like, for example, anger. So my experience that I shared with you this week was about, the question was first, have you ever felt angry? But recently, did something trigger you that you felt an emotion like anger inside you? And when that happened, if you go back to that situation in your mind, check up what happened, who was involved, where was I, what would it have been different if you would have applied patience in this situation? What would the outcome have been if you would have applied patience? And just sit with that for a moment, and then just notice what comes up, and notice the feelings, not just the thoughts, but really go into your heart and feel it. And then, of those insights, when you find them, see how they can also help you in other situations. So, for example, if you get triggered again at something, how could you prevent your reactive behavior to take control rather than your your mind that is in a more controlled manner, and also more at peace and at ease and relaxed, because when we are calm and when we're relaxed, our decisions are much more efficient and much more focused and much more in alignment with our heart, rather than perhaps old patterns, subconscious patterns that we still share and explore, and then all of a sudden we express ourselves that way. So that's not really the way we want to go forward when we want to become more conscious. So that was my experiment, and I'm sure that we all have some experience with it. So if you would like to share some of your insight, what have helped you when you ever applied patience, that will be really, really good as well for the viewers later and now as well. So just want to say also hi to everybody who's watching.
Helen?
Great that you are here. Is that Helen? Helen is here. Great. Hey, nice, Helen. Lovely that you're here.
Patience. How can this help to raise our level of consciousness? And what do you think?
Well, I think that's a very good question. I think because we then become aware that we're not running the program on the subconscious level, that we start to, like I said, feel the power of our mind. The power of our mind is so strong, and that we don't go into the spiral of maybe self-destructive thoughts or negative thoughts or limiting beliefs, but that we say, oh my gosh, I also have the choice to think differently. And how does that help? I think when we realize, if we just would reflect or do a practice when we feel the effect on when we're patient, how does that make you feel? How does your body posture change? How is your heart rate? Or when you, for example, you're just reactive on every emotion that is triggered in you, maybe still based on old patterning, that is also having an effect on your body. There's two different ways how you experience a situation. And when you become more conscious of that, you know that in a particular moment again, you have an opportunity to apply them. And they will not have only effects on the situation and the people around you, like you say, but also on the health benefit of yourself as well. And you will then consciously choose not to go there anymore. You will not be able in time. It will take practice, but not as much as before. And I'm sure the ones who have practiced more awareness and mindfulness before, that you will say, oh gosh, I'm less reactive nowadays. I take some more time. And I think patience is a foundation for all that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, what we sometimes also say, but we will also go deeper in during the 4-leaf clover program that we are going to start in September, is that there must be a degree of positivity in your thinking, in your actions, in your feelings. And what do we mean with this? I think, and that's purely my own perception on things, there is no negativity. Everything you do has a positive intention, has a positive reason for you. There is a benefit of it. Although the results from what you do are not always what you want and what you expected, but there is always a degree of positivity. But if you be patient, for instance, if you're more self-aware, you're going to raise the level of degree of positivity. So relatively, it's higher than the ones that you had before. And once you take one step further on the degree of positivity, you can change the other ones. You cannot change it on the same level. That's what Einstein already said. You need to have another level of consciousness, another level of awareness to change the things at the moment that you created them. So you need to think different. You need to have a different position of self-awareness. And that will increase your level of positivity. And it will go higher and higher. And this level of positivity you need to raise your level of consciousness. So everything you do is not negative. it has something, a degree of positivity in this. Only the results you look at, you think they're negative, but they're just a result where you can learn and say, okay, this no more. How can I do it different? Just like Claudia said, it's reframing. If I use patience in this situation, how would it have been? How would I react? How would I feel in this moment? How would the other person probably feel? What kind of decisions would I probably have made then? And then you raise your level of positivity, degree of positivity, and then you can change the old ones.
Yeah, that's lovely. And I also like it that you then say, well, the other one is not negative. It's just a different level of positivity. And the density is different.
The density, that's
more
nice.
Clear.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's more clear.
Yeah.
It's less heavy.
It's less solid also.
Yeah.
Okay, it's more open,
Yeah,
more
spacious,
possibilities, more potential.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So the benefits and the power of patience. So I hope that was helpful for you as well. We apply it daily. And we like to pick some cards from the 16 guidelines, and that was patience this week as well. And then next week.
For next week, we also have one. We took one every Tuesday. We have our meeting. We have a weekly meeting with CWA, Claudia with Arturo. And we have the meeting, and then we talk about the things that we want to do, what went well, how can we do it different. And this Tuesday we picked a card, and that was
Surface.
Surface, being of surface.
Yeah, the power of surface. And we've already had one recording around it, but now we want to go more in depth about that. What does being of surface really mean? Selfless surface. Yeah. So we're going to speak about that, or we write about that, but we won't have a Facebook Live next week on the Friday, so you'll have a day off. But the week after you'll hear from us again with that, and we will then discuss surface in there as well in the Facebook Live. So we're looking forward to that, to sharing that with you. We already had a little exploration around that. And then, the 4-leaf clover program. Wow, it's just incredible. We went over it again this week, and we've got some lovely people signed up for it, and we are so looking forward to it. But we are now going to record little films, a little bit about the content, but also about what is so important about doing something like that, and why have we decided to do the 4-leaf clover program. And I put a little video on this yesterday about it. And, we all deserve a life that is where you can unlock your potential. You are born here with a gift in this life. You didn't come here for nothing. And a lot of people are just like, some people call it sheep walking in their life. They go with the herd, they go and do all the things that everybody else does. And there is something inside them that has an inner light. And I think we all have it, but we don't have the confidence or the strength to make that first step towards it, to actually start living towards your potential. Now, to unlock this full potential, we feel that 4-leaf clover can really help, the 4-leaf clover program, and we give you 4 modules when we step through all these things in like today what we said, how you think, for example. That's how we start with the first module. And it really helps you to become so aware of your habits, your patterns that you're running that are not helping. And you might have already started your own business, or you might have already started something, but you feel there is still something holding you back. You're not fully, really having the fruits of that. It's not coming into fruition what's sitting here. That seed, you keep planting it, and you've planted it, you keep watering it, but it's not coming into fruition. So what we really like about our 4-leaf clover program, and there's many lovely programs out there, so really feel out if this is the one for you. But we feel that we are also building like a community of people, like a tribe of people who are wanting to help each other to go that step further and to say, well, how are you doing? Where are you with this? And it's a whole year that we'll come together every month on Zoom, and then every quarter of the year, 2 days, a weekend together, and we're going to deepen our connection with each other to really get the best out of you. But not in a way as it is in an achieving and a successful kind of business talk style. It's like what happens inside here. That, you actually start to know that you're really alive the way you're supposed to live. And we feel that we have learned the tools on the way that have helped us so much to do that in every day.
And we're still learning.
And still learning. And that's why we also have a fifth leaf program after. That's a week intense retreat with us. But really, and if we see the people who've already signed up, don't think people are, on a conscious level so high yet or whatever, oh, I can't be there because it's too above my head. No, it's not. We are all at a level where we're at, but we're here to support each other on that level to, like you're saying, into that next level of positivity and to really fully start living from your heart in all you think, in all you do, in all how you relate. So this is the way we feel it's a fantastic program to give you that foundation and the support to grow with that. So
I think that what you said, the support, that's I think important. Yeah. A lot of times people go to some kind of course or training, and it's 3 days in a row, and after that the energy is high and everything is okay, but then life kicks in. And when life kicks in, you fall back on your automatic patterns, the ones that help you to survive. So what we want to do with you is 1 year long, every day. Well, of course you have to do your work, but we will support you, we will guide you. We don't say what you need to do, but we will help you, and also your body, also the Zoom calls, and also all these kind of things. The workbook will help you to stay on track. And of course, there will be issues. I cannot imagine in 1 year that one person on this planet, he or she doesn't have any issues. We will have issues, but it's how you deal with it. How can you overcome it? What have you learned from the earlier situations like this? And that is, then you're stepping up in a high degree of positivity and you can see why you acted and reacted like this in an earlier stage. And then you can say, wow, this is not helpful anymore. Thank you, subconscious mind. Thank you for your help in my past life, in my last few years. I don't need that action anymore. I can do it different. And then you will raise your level of positivity, your level of consciousness, your level of self-awareness, you will be less dense. You will use the universal intelligence that's already there much more. You will use the universal mind with all the potential and the possibilities much more, and you can connect with that. And then you will see how much easier life can be for you. Yeah. And again, we still have issues.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's really lovely that, and again, this might be something that people are not aware of, the lingo of universal mind and all these things, but, that is something we'll discuss during the program as well. And those are fantastic and insights that you'll probably will get if you already haven't had them, but you'll reconnect with them again and say, oh yeah, that's how it was. Some things you will already know, and you have so much wisdom and knowledge already in you, and will draw it out of you so you can take that next step. But what it's about here, it's not about being that successful person with 2 million followers on Insta or whatever. That's not what it's about. You have to go crazy to achieve that in your life. It's about really, am I living what I'm supposed to be here? Yeah. Am I just doing something because that's what the world tells me to do, what all the other people are doing, or have I got something else here to do? And to really find that out, because that will be your unique niche, why people will come to you, for example, if you have your business. And you can expand it from there. So, yeah, there's so many levels that we are wanting to share with you, as you can see. And we just feel that the right people will be on that course, and we've made it a very special price this year. Next year it's going to be double the price, and we can do that right now. And next year we have some other plans, and it will be double. So if you really want to have something like that in your life, or you feel there's somebody else who wants to be there, just get in contact with us on www.consciousworldagents.com or send us an email at info@consciousworldagents.com.
Yeah.
And have I missed something?
I don't think so. No. You know, and if at the end you will have, after this, you will have 2 million followers on Instagram, that's okay.
Of course, of course. Yeah, that's.
But it's if that is your only goal,
Yeah.
then what we think that you will get disappointed.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah.
And start doing things from the heart, from really your core belief, your calling.
Yeah, definitely. And then things will come on your path that
Yeah.
are probably beyond your understanding and wish list, because they are not coming from a desire or a want. They are just coming in because it matches your true self.
It's just, you know, this morning I had a conversation with a person I met 3.5, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
There was once during a training from somebody who's called Aramik for LinkedIn. I never ever spoke to that person in the last 3.5 years again. We never had any contact on LinkedIn, and suddenly he calls me. He said, Arturo, can you do a workshop for the company for 40 people? Suddenly it's there.
Out of there, yeah.
Out of the blue. Something also we are going to start in October.
Yeah.
Another company contacted us
Yeah.
without really chasing.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen. That's what will happen if you are there. If you are really in that feeling, that energy, that vibration, things will come to you.
Definitely.
And that's so difficult in this fast life that we live to understand.
To understand that, yeah. If you have any questions, or if you feel like Arturo said, you know, you want to have a little chat with us about it, if it's the right thing for you, then get in contact. And otherwise, we're going to wish you a wonderful week next week.
Yeah.
Again, a lovely weekend, and yeah, it's nice.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you all again at the next Conscious World Agents Live. And any questions, get in touch.
Yeah. And we're going, this week, we're going to have a small holiday.
Yes, we are. Nice. Little break. And not because we don't like working. We love working. But it's also good to be in nature sometimes.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we know when to play hard and to work hard. Okay, lots of love. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Arturo. I liked it today. Bye, everybody. Ciao.